Welcome to Here's the Story, a show that brings student affairs to life by sharing the authentic voices and lived experiences of those who are shaping the field every day. As part of the Student Affairs Now family, we are dedicated to serving and furthering the people who walk the walk and talk the walk all of us find ourselves doing while serving students. You can find us at studentaffairsnow.com or directly at www.studentaffairsnow.com/. Here's the story on YouTube or wherever you enjoy podcasts. We like to thank today's sponsor, Evolve. Evolve helps senior leaders release fear, gain courage, and take action for transformational leadership through a personalized cohort based virtual learning experience. I get to be your host today, Helena Gardner. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I serve as the Director of Residence Education and Housing Services at Michigan State University. I live my life as a mom, a sister, a friend, a mentor, and I enjoy living my life as all those things. I am joined today by my good friend.
Hey y'all, JT Snipes. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I serve as the Associate Professor and Chair, the Educational Leadership Department at Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. That's a mouthful, trying to say it fast. And Helena, I'm just trying my best to live as a free Black man in a world that would have me live otherwise.
Well, I'm glad to be in this number with you. And today, I'm always excited. Like every time we have a guest, I'm like, oh, I'm excited. But I'm going to tell you what, I'm excited to introduce to you my real friend in real life.
Come
In
on now,
real
friend.
life, real friend. Probably been my friend a couple rotations on this journey, in fact, as we believe. Dr. Patrice Palmer. Patrice, tell them a little bit about you, real friend.
Hey, real friend. All right. So, Patrice Palmer, they, them, theirs pronouns. I serve as assistant dean and teaching faculty in the Department of Management in the College of Business here at Colorado State University. I am also a partner in B Labs, where I work with Fortune 100, 500, and 1,000 companies in creating inclusive workplaces through HR digital solutions to that. And one thing I will say is if my friend Helena calls me, I have to answer because that's what you do with friends in real life. That's what you do. And so I am honored. I am always humbled by any time she asks me to do something because she actually believes in whatever she does. So it's never just, I'm just doing it for the sake of. And so it is definitely a privilege to be here and be in community with some good Black folk. I miss it. I miss it. And I'm thankful for it today.
Aw, thank you. That was so sweet. I appreciate you. And I'm always excited to bring Dr. Palmer into a space because I believe Dr. Palmer does soul work and is a natural storyteller by as a gift to us. And so when the words fall, they touch the soul. And so today, I know you got a story to tell us. So you drop a story on us today.
All right. So let me tell you first thing, when you talk about storytelling, I must give respect. I must give love to the Gullah Geechee people. I am Gullah Geechee. My mother was born in Moncks Corner, South Carolina, specifically in Berkeley County by way of St. John's Island. And we are natural storytellers. And so if I get too comfortable with you, that tongue gonna start to slip a little bit. But hold on with me. I promise you, I'm gonna get back to the intellect as
Oh,
I
wait.
talk.
We love the slippage. It's okay to slip a little bit.
That's real talk right there, right? So one of the things that it comes to mind when I talk about any type of story is thinking about how it shows up for students, and particularly students of color, students who come from marginalized identities, students who have been minoritized even though they are not a minority. So let that sit with us. And this particular student came to me because of shared identities that that student and I had, and they were really trying to get into my college, which is the College of Business. We have very specific parameters to get into our college, and it's not easy to get into. So, student comes and speaks to me and says that this is something that they want to do. And one of the things that I have noticed is that when you have a student who is in a space that is predominantly not an identity that they share, folks are real good in telling them what they can't do. And so that was not something that I wanted to do for that student. I wanted to be honest in what I provided them. And so as I'm talking to this student, I'm giving them the facts, I'm giving them my honesty. And what I'm noticing is that this student is kind of dug their heels in and not really understanding all of the context of what is needed. And so as they dig their heels in and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, recognizing, one, we were under time constraints, two, looking at the fact that they are losing money at this point, and three, they are a senior. And so everything is very much, we only have a very short window to do this. And they were very much like, yeah, I can do it, not a problem, all these things. And I know that is not true. There's no way to do it in the time frame necessary, knowing that our program by itself, by coming in, you were going to have to do an additional almost 2 years to make sure. And so student is saying how they can do it, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to hit you with the truth in real life. Like I might have to hurt your feelings in this, and that's not what I want to do, but I need you to understand the truth. And so as I'm giving them the truth, I can see their countenance start to change, because now it's starting to set in. This may not actually be something I can do. And they begin to allow my door to open, and doubt decides to sit down with us. And as doubt is sitting in, she then invites defeat. And I'm watching this happen to this student. And in my head, I'm saying, but I'm giving them the truth. I am giving them the accurate account of what is necessary for them to know. And nobody's going to tell them the truth. I owe it to them to give them the truth. But what I also recognize is that truth doesn't care about feelings. And when you are talking with someone who is going through things, we need to be intentional about going back to what we know. And what I originally wanted to give them was honesty. And in honesty, I recognize the difference is intent. And so I recognized in that moment that what I needed to do is I needed to give them the honest truth. And that's not what I was doing. I was trying to choose. Do I want to be honest in this moment, or do I want to be truthful? And I define that to that student as truth being accuracy that's devoid of any feeling, and honesty being the thing that is a shared fact or reality. It's something that has transparency and sincerity, and there is no hidden agenda in it. I am giving you what I believe to be, and belief is the predecessor of hope. And if I take that away from them, I take away an experience that they'll never get back, because nobody else is going to give them that. Not the way I look, not what I can bring to them. And if I become the very system that tells them what they cannot do and never invite hope into the conversation, then I become the very thing that I say I don't want to do. So as I'm working with this student and I'm talking with this student and I am inviting hope now into the space, defeat got to get up.
Gone
because
somewhere.
there's only so many chairs in the room. You have all of these things that now have to move because belief has to come in. Hope is coming in. So the room can't be crowded because light and dark can't be in the same room together. So somebody gonna have to give up their seat. And we got 2 seats that are accounted for. So the other seats gonna have to go up to what we are now inviting in the room. And so I'm giving this student that, and I recognize that in this space, in my position of power, I have to be able to understand how to give the honest truth to every person that comes in. I cannot pick and choose. We cannot afford to pick and choose which one that can be. And so as I'm having this conversation, hope is here and belief is here. I give the student now 2 options. If we decide to go this way, these are the things that we need to do. If we decide to make changes, this is what we need to do. But I give you choice, and I'm going to present choice to you in a loving and supportive manner, but also recognizing that you're in the driver's seat of this. So recognize what you're about to take. and be okay with whatever that choice is, because good, bad, or indifferent is going to be a consequence that's attached to it. So the student says, this is what they're going to do. And I can thankfully say that I looked on my LinkedIn and I see somebody that I recognize. Why do I know this person? And they're saying that they're graduating. And I go back to my email and I start looking at our email chain, put the name in, and I see the email chain. I said, it's you. You're the one. This is what you chose. Not only are they graduating with a degree in the college that they wanted to be in, which was the College of Business, they also have a job. And they're working in the field to which they wanted to be in all the time. And they recognize the risks that they had to take. But I knew that they would never be able to have done that if they did not have the honest truth. And that honest truth has to come from folks who have lived it, who have experienced it, and know how to invite hope and belief into the room. Because if they are not invited, they are those of manners. And if they're not invited, they won't show up just because. And so I think that's something to take away, is that how do we invite these things into the conversation? Because there may be some times where you have to be like, come on in and stay at the door, depending on what is necessary. But it is a privilege that today I get to see that student walk across the stage and they begin their life in this work. And so that, I think, is what I hope to leave with somebody today, is that when you give people the honest truth and meet them where they are, now you have a different seating arrangement that can show up for people. So, yeah.
All right. Well, let's get back into some questions. I'll start with this one. You said that belief was the predecessor of hope. And you also said that belief and hope had manners. And it's the personification. I don't know if that's the word. That's the word I'm going to use right now. Okay, thank you. It's the personification of that. Talk to me a little bit more about belief and hope in that order, but as a product of honest, you said you got to be honestly truthful.
Yes. So what I mean by that is that in order for folks to have hope, hope does not manifest itself just because. Something has to spark it. Belief is the thing that sparks hope. And we've always had that. In order for you to sit in a chair, you have to believe that that chair can hold your weight.
No, that's real.
Hope that it will hold up, right? So there has to be a belief first before hope can ever decide to say, no, I can step in and make sure that it happens. So that's something that we sometimes forget. We just expect hope to show up. But because they have manners or are polite, if I can say that term, they're always going to need an introduction. So there needs to be some type of invitation or introduction that allows for them to then do their work. And I think if we wanted to go down the rabbit hole of how we say things, everything that is said has to have a specific, there needs to be a specific equation to which that follows in order for it to equal out in the truth that you need it to be. So when we talk about being honestly truthful, when belief is sparked, it then presents hope. Hope can then say that we now can have honest conversations, and that honesty then can translate to being very truthful, because I don't want to give you information that just makes you feel good. I need to give you information that is accurate, and that accuracy allows you to make the best decision, because it's not motivational. And I think we sit in motivation a lot more than we really should.
Because it sounds like trust. I'm sorry, JT. I just wanted to say that. It sounds like that hope will give you a little bit of trust. Because when I think about that chair, because I can think of chairs at a family cookout that I'm not sitting in. Like I can look at the chair like, oh, that one's not for me. That little kid should probably sit in that chair. But once I feel comfortable, then I can get into the space.
Yeah.
I can get into the space. And that to me sounds like, okay, now I can trust what is happening here. And maybe it's not trust. Maybe it's I can be comfortable, which means any other barrier or burden that's on me that was blocking me from receiving, that's gone. That's gone now.
you can never be trusting and not be comfortable. There has to be comfort in trust. So I don't even think you can even have that without one. Those things go together.
That's it right there. Sorry, JT, I cut you off.
No apologies necessary. Because I feel like I'm gonna throw off the vibe because when I love the formulation and have encountered what I loved about your story, right? I've encountered truth, unvarnished truth,
Mm-hmm.
right? Without the way that you describe honesty.
Mm-hmm.
And you said rightly, and I love this, right? It's an invitation into a shared reality
Mm-hmm.
that acknowledges how people are feeling. And I'm indexing on the feeling, right? Because I do think in the moment that I'm in, maybe it's just me, I feel like I don't have the capacity to deal with feelings, right?
Mm,
What I
Mm-hmm.
have the capacity for right now, and because of my ethical commitments, is to truth.
Mm-hmm.
Curious, what would you say to someone like me who really is interested in getting to honesty, but may not have the like current capacities for anything other than truth?
Oh, that's real because we are in a climate that being truthful is now being interchanged with being honest. Well, I'm just giving you the honest truth, right? When in fact, no, you're just giving me truth. You don't care about how I feel when I'm embracing that thing. You are only caring about in that moment being accurate. And your accuracy is really saving you. Your comfort now is in your accuracy and not in ensuring that I can do what I need to do. So what I would honestly say for folks in that is one, we do need to check our capacity meters. We are tasked as, and let's be again being very transparent, we are tasked as Black leaders to hold much more than we are truly designed to hold.
mm,
And we still have to hold that thing in the parameter of whatever our role is, right? And so there are times where you're going to have to take a risk and be honest with folks. And as they come in, it's going to be based on one, your capacity to do that, because you're going to have to take them down a road once you give them that. You don't just give them honesty and then let them walk away. That's what you do for truth. Take it and prove it. If it don't work, now you can come back. But I know that what I'm giving you is accurate. So we have to also always look at our capacity to do that and then be honest with ourselves and our own feeling to say, what are we trying to give that student in the moment? Let me tell you exactly what the policy tells us in this moment. And then possibly have to give them that. Or say, I may have to refer you to somebody else right now that's going to be able to take you on this journey because I can't do it. And I think that's something that we are so polite with one another that we won't even check in and say, do you have the capacity? Because we just assume that all of us ain't got it. So everybody's struggling as much as we are. And there are days, but there are other days where today I can hold the line. I got you. You need me to take this one? I got you. So being able to do that. So what I would say to anyone who's in that position, know who your network is and know how to engage with that network while being honest and truthful with yourself and what that capacity is for you to do something for that student. Because obviously we're going to, based on our policy, give you the truth. But when you need to give them the honest truth, there's going to be extra steps that you may not be able to do by time, by constraint, or what have you. And you may have to pass it off. Let me refer you out to somebody who I know can take you the rest of the distance. And I would say, Helena, we've done that many times together. Like, yo, I know I got somebody. I can't, but can you? And that's how we were able to balance some of that load and then still support our community.
Can I follow up too? I'm thinking about there's an element of vulnerability that you describe in honesty, and I'm wondering, are there moments that you actively choose to just be truthful and not honest? So I'd love to hear about how you make those
That's
sorts
a
of
good
calculations.
question.
No, that's facts. And I have to. There are times where I don't have the capacity to take on all of the things that you are needing. I have to walk you through. I have to grow you up sometimes in things. Or me and you didn't have this conversation before. And I've given you the honest truth and you did not take it. So what can I do when you are putting a barrier between us to get to the other side, yet you keep coming back and saying, what can I do to remove the same barrier that you are fixated on?
Yeah, because at that time, you're not here for the truth. You might be here for something else, but it's not the truth and
And
it's
I
not
have
this
to acknowledge
honesty.
that. I name that. I got to name that in the space. Like, this is the third time that we've had this conversation. What do you want? What do you want from me? Because I've given you what you need, but that's not satiating you at this point. You want something else. What is that desire? Because I may not be the one to do that now. And I have a story about a student of trans experience who that was happening with. And I'm like, girl, I've given you everything that I can do to get you to the next point, but you're not doing it. So you may need to fall. I may have to watch you fall, and I'm okay with that.
And I think that's honesty too, though. I think honesty can also look like I have taken you as far as I can, or if this is what you present, this is all I can give. And in that honesty, though, I don't know, at least for me, I find that if a person is ready and wanting to have a mutual reality, they come back home when they're ready. They come back home when they're ready to talk about it.
Come home. You always, I don't care how bad home is. You always come back home because that's what you know. Right? And so regardless of what I have said, you know that you can come here and you can cry and you can vent and you can do, and I am going to tell you to get your ass up, get it together, and keep it moving because you know I love you enough to do that. And that's why you keep coming back. So maybe you're not coming back because you need help. You need the familiarity of my voice. You need your mama to say, get it together, but mama's not here. So you need to have that type of maternal or paternal love to say, get it together in a way that nobody else can. And that is a community thing that can't nobody else do but good Black folk.
I mean, I'm sitting with that. I'm sitting with that. And I think that's what takes our capacity is when you got to give love so far and everywhere that starts to take your capacity. That's what makes it hard for you to find the space to be honest because sometimes your breath done got taken away and all I got is truth. But I love how you said earlier, and I just was reflecting on a time when I was able to witness you speak to a group of students in the exercise of having folks stand up and hold the line. I think though that sometimes that's where holding the line comes in. And you said it like you refer them out to someone else who can help. But when you holding that line, you know that if you can't extend, the other person is extending, and that person is then an extension of you, and they can do that. And for me, I think that's what's important to this work. I think that's important to this work is that as we are burdened and stretched and filled with so many things, that we have our own networks, our own colleagues across campuses, across the nation. I'm thinking about three of you just in different areas of work that are able to be an extension of home, right? They're extension of home for us, which then allows us to rebuild our capacity or to share out. And I think on another podcast, I don't know if it's today's episode, it just got me thinking about what happens when what happens that we, and maybe it's me, are starting to not have time for the line. Right? We know the line is there, but the moments to hold, to build those communities, to build those connections, take a little backseat because our capacity is stretched, not only by what we're doing in our work lives, but what we're doing in the world. What you think, JT?
You just opened up something for me because I think the imagery is so beautiful of us when we are in sync working together to hold the line. And what I feel like has been happening, I'm just going to speak for myself in my own context, is that the folks we hold the line with are being taken out, whether it's by like institutions not providing them with the compensation that they need or increasing the amount of work that folks have to do, or just, there's just normal life circumstances that usher people in and out of spaces.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I'm losing key people that help me hold the line.
Yeah.
And I feel my capacities to be honest and to know that, to talk about this hope. Like I have hope that I'm holding the line with people. We've been through some things together. Like
Yeah.
we're holding this together. And you
Yeah.
take away the people that I trust and believe and dream and have hope with. So like your words spark something in me. And I'm gonna spend some time reflecting on what both you have offered in holding the line, that metaphor, and Patrice, this text of honesty and truth. Like, oh my God, wonderful, wonderful.
Right. Like it's just like you just didn't think of the difference. And yeah, like oh my goodness, I'm just thinking about the service pieces of our work, the service pieces of our lives, and how service can look like truth. Service can look like exacts, but it can also look like um, telling a few doubters and deniers to get on up from the table.
Right.
Get on up from the table and make some space because ultimately, when we're out here helping folks, that's we know what we're here to do. We know what we're here to help them do. And so, on that note, on that note, we gotta wrap up this talk today because we could keep going, and Patrice, we always do. We always do. I'm thinking of
Hmm.
so many things. But today, today that story came from a good friend, Dr. Patrice Palmer. We want to thank you for sharing your wisdom with us today. That just it just meant a lot to me. I'm gonna give another shout out to our sponsor, Evolve. Again, Evolve helps senior leaders who value, aspire to lead on, and want to unleash their potential for belonging and transformational leadership. Student Affairs Now's Dr. Keith Edwards, along with Doctors Brian Arroyo and Dawn Lee, offer a personalized experience with high impact value. And the asynchronous content in 6 individual and 6 group sessions maximize your learning and growth and focus time investment, greatly enhancing your ability to lead powerfully for social change. Again, Patrice, we want to thank you. Great story. I'm going to reflect on this probably the whole of the day. This has been Here's the Story, part of the Student Affairs Now family. We are so glad you joined us to learn, to cry, sometimes commiserate, and definitely think real hard on the things that our guests are sharing. And we're just grateful to be a part of the Student Affairs experience. If you have a story, and we know everyone has a story to tell, please consider sharing by leaving a 2-minute pitch via voice file at studentaffairsnow.com/here's the story. Every story is welcome. Every earnest perspective is worthy. If you don't feel like sharing yours, you can catch mine. You can catch others at studentaffairsnow.com. You can catch it on YouTube and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Make sure you take a moment to like it, though, wherever you go. This episode has been edited by Nat Ambrosi. Nat, thank you for making us look and sound so good. I, again, am your host, Helena Gardner.
I'm JT Snipes. I'm gonna take a point of privilege to say thank you, Dr. Palmer. Man, again, thank you so much.